Hey, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Aseem Bakshi. I'm the CEO and founder of Webmates. I'm here to talk to you about a revolutionary patented AI defect predictor that is part of the Webmates CQ system. In today's presentation, I'm going to go over the power of the AI defect predictor and talk about the US Air Force STTR award, which is a joint academic NYU TOPS and commercial Webmates project. Here we are enabling the AI defect predictor to be used as a standalone tool that works with any automation system, such as with Sauce Labs. But before I get into that, first let me talk a little bit about our journey with the Air Force. Webmates has been selected by the US Air Force multiple times to support their Agile DevOps initiatives. The initial SBIR award was for the in-market Webmates CQ platform. The phase 2 commenced in August 2021 and continues to expand. We've been privileged to work with and enjoy the support of 2 software factories, namely Kobayashi Maru and SpaceCamp. The focus of today's talk is on a newer STTR award that we received in conjunction with NYU TOPS. This combination research and commercial grant is centered on our patent-granted technology, the AI defect predictor, and making it operational on traditional automation systems like Sauce Labs. I'm tremendously excited to be discussing this technology with you that diagnoses why automation scripts have failed and helps you fix them. The US Air Force is challenged with the mission preparedness for the most advanced fighting force known to man. Technology is critical. Developing fast with the highest quality is critical. We're living in a new era where software releases move much faster, with customers looking for features weekly, if not daily. The traditional approaches to QA cannot match the speed of an agile cloud DevOps process. Customers expect new features every day with no downtime and no bugs. Ginormous companies like Google, Amazon, Facebook have led the way in introducing new products and features at an incredible rate. And you can see in the graphic how often they're releasing software. The picture on the right shows FangT that are able to do this with enormous cost and scale. As you can all imagine by now, the demand for faster product releases, optimal app performance, and ultimately happy customers are the top priorities for companies looking to differentiate themselves in this rapidly changing and highly competitive market that we're in. With that, we have IT leaders striving to adopt new modern testing approaches, such as continuous automated testing, that can help companies not only keep pace with modern delivery, but also ensure that they are providing an optimal digital experience that drives the value for the business and the customers. Ultimately, what it boils down to is that testing early, better, and faster is the new imperative. As continuous delivery and integration accelerates release velocity, manual testing quickly becomes a bottleneck and creates inefficiencies in the value stream since it's slow, expensive, and resource intensive. The US Air Force software factories identified speed in QA as a priority. As QA and dev teams become more and more distributed, companies need a more manageable way for these geographically dispersed teams to collaborate on testing. So the main takeaway here is that most companies are still missing their deadlines as the demand increases, and this is because they are still manually or with basic automation tools testing their code, which results in large testing windows. Therefore, these bottlenecks in the tests that are needed are never executed and never really coincide with the availability of QA teams and dev teams, which then results in endless backlogs of testing. Before we jump any further, I'd like to tell you a little bit about what Webmates does. Webmates is a multi-patented revolutionary software testing as a service that generates test cases and test scripts. It generates them, executes them, and analyzes the results, and AI heals them in a guaranteed amount of time. The solution is scalable, flexible, guarantees results in under 24 hours, and is used by enterprise customers like Comcast, Equifax, the US Air Force that I've mentioned multiple times, and even startups like TMRW. We have 6 granted patents. Webmates CQ offers a no-code, no-script, low-touch method to achieve software test automation. We achieve this with 3 simple low-touch steps. The first step is generate a strategy. We access your application and our AI tools generate a test strategy that shows where tests should be performed and how many in each area. Our test ops teams review it and refine it after it comes from the AI model. And then your team approves the test strategy. The second step is equally easy. Our AI tools generate the test cases and the test scripts. Then our test op team reviews it and refines it. And then your team reviews just the test cases. And finally, in step 3, execute and analyze. You deploy your latest build and point us at it. We run the test scripts and AI heal them and then generate defects in 24 hours. The reason it takes 24 hours is the AI healing is actually fixing the scripts and the test cases for any change that has occurred. And then our test team reviews and refines the execution and the defects that are generated by our AI tools. And then finally, you approve the defects by reviewing 20-second videos, and that's it, you're done. The entire process really boils down to these 3 steps, and the execute and analyze then is carried out build after build after build, with the AI healing keeping everything up to date. So I've been talking about AI healing a lot. AI healing is the key thing, that the challenge that the Air Force was constructing. Whenever an automation test suite was executed, the results was a pass-fail report, right? Like with every automation system. However, AI healing is the process of identifying false failures, fixing them, and re-executing them to get a true fail report. AI healing is performed in the Webmates world by the AI Defect Predictor and the AI Test Package Analyzer. You can see in the slide that I've separated the 2 parts. The AI Defect Predictor is sort of like script-oriented, and the Test Package Analyzer is feature-oriented. So the automation script failures that are handled by the AI Defect Predictor, what are they? Locator changes. Well, the locator ID is a unique identifier that helps scripts identify a specific element on the web page. It is used to send commands to the browser to perform specific actions. Browsers can perform actions only if it is able to locate a particular element using a unique identifier. Unique identifiers can be ID, name, CSS, or XPath. There's like 9 different versions. While fixing bugs or introducing new HTML attributes or styles, there's a chance that the developers end up updating the identifiers or introducing new elements whose identifiers are not identified by the automation scripts. This causes automation to fail in identifying the unique elements. In such cases, a false failure is reported. The second category of script failure is timeouts. Timeout errors occur and can happen for a number of reasons. The server response time could go down, the requesting device may not be as responsive, but it's a very common occurrence. And the third class of script errors is input data changes, where for one run, for example, the input data values may be dependent on particular values, and then in a different deployment, those input data values may have changed, and therefore they aren't working. For example, the login name may be different, or the username may be different. Now, a completely different class of AI tools is for when features are changed, and this is handled by the Test Package Analyzer. So what is feature change? So feature changes occur as a result of software developers modifying the features of the existing product or adding new features that are specified for them to create. And it is a big cause of false failures. The problem is that the automation system is testing the software that was, as opposed to the software that is, based on the new features that have been modified or added. This may happen as a direct impact of changes or in some intermediate step. For example, in an e-commerce site, original expected results for clicking on search was to show the results on the same page, but as a result of a modification, search results are shown in a new tab. Okay, but the behavior is the same, but the automation scripts won't work because the new tab is simply not there, and the automation scripts need to be healed to reflect the new behavior. I want to stress here that 30 to 40% of test scripts fail on average, and 93% of the fails are due to these false failures. So what is the AI Defect Predictor? The AI Defect Predictor is an AI tool that was created by Webmates that with 99% accuracy and with a granted patent tells you when a test script failure is, whether a test script failure is caused due to a script failure or due to a defect. 99% accuracy. The AI tool provides recommendations so one can review and heal automated and failed test cases in minutes rather than days. The AI defect predictor will free your team up from the effort of finding and fixing false failures and rerunning failed test cases, allowing more time to develop for priority features. In UI testing, as mentioned earlier, the defect predictor identifies changes such as locator IDs, script timeouts, and test data changes. In particular, locator IDs and timeouts alone cause 60% of the false positives that are typically seen in an automation run. In addition, as I mentioned earlier, test data changes and even end-to-end flows are identified by it. The US Air Force, Kobayashi Maru Space Camp and others found this valuable, and we're working together to advance this technology in the form of the STTR that the US Air Force and Kobayashi Maru and Space Camp are supporting. Now, why is this valuable to you? Well, if you already have existing scripts on Sauce Labs, you will be able to use the AI defect predictor to analyze your scripts and see if any of the issues outlined above have occurred in your automation scripts. Interested? Join the beta. The beta list email address, I'm going to share that at the end, and you will have free access to use this groundbreaking tool on Sauce Labs. In addition, you can rapidly select a subset of test scripts in a mini test suite in an area that a single developer is working on and run the mini suite and run the AI defect predictor with that. So it's not limited to just one suite. It's like whatever test scripts you want to run, the tool will analyze the pass-fail report. This tool has already helped dev and QA teams shift left with defect discovery actually occurring in development, as well as integration and in staging. Okay, so I've talked a lot about the defect predictor. Now let's go into a demo. For the purposes of this demo, I have run a set of test scripts and the standard pass-fail report is available. And you can see it in the top left that the execution is completed and there are a number of fails. As you can see, the AI defect predictor has classified all the fails. They're separated first by which ones are potential defects and which ones are identified as false failures. It then has taken the next step of identifying the root cause of the failures. So let's look at the first case. As I mentioned earlier, 60% of test script failures are locator IDs or timeout issues. Let's look at the category of locators. Here, you can see that there is a locator failure that occurred in these test scripts. I click on the heal button. As you can see, the AI tool identifies what the old locator was. I rapidly go look up the new locator value and then insert the new locator value. In this case, the locator is only changed by one character from #summary to #summary1. Yeah, really innovative. I enter in the new value and click on save and then add to rerun. All the test scripts are updated. In 3 minutes, I have AI healed all automation scripts with the new locator value, and I can rerun as the next step. This typically takes an automation scripter up to 10 hours of work. In 3 minutes, we're done. Now let's move to the case where an automation script has failed due to a timeout error. The process is similar. I select the failed script, and once again, I head to the heal button. I select the heal button again. The AI tool takes me to a screen where I go to the automation script step that has the failed timeout. I enter the timeout, and once again, hit the save button, and then add to rerun button. The automation scripts are updated and ready to run. Now let's move to the final category of script errors that I'm going to demo today, in which the test data has changed. The process is again similar. Go to the category test data change. I click on the heal button. I locate the line of script where the test data is changed, and here you can see me entering in new values. And as always, at the end, I click on the save button and put the test to rerun. At this point, my scripts are up to date and can be rerun. As I mentioned earlier, the US Air Force is investing and participating in the AI defect predictor in multiple different ways, particularly in supporting the movement of the AI defect predictor onto standalone automation systems like Sauce Labs. The STTR that Webmates and NYU has been awarded is the way that the US Air Force shows support for taking this patented technology and making these AI models available on traditional automation systems like Sauce Lab. This allows someone who has currently implemented automation scripts on Sauce Labs to use the AI defect predictor to analyze the pass-fail report and quickly identify and fix automation scripts. Issues like locator ID changes, timeouts, test data input changes. If you're interested in participating in the free upcoming beta release, please register at the email. You can see it in red. And here, you can see even bigger in blue, the email to register. Any questions, anyone? And like I suggested, register for the free beta on saucelabs-beta at webmates.com and participate in a revolutionary technology that can make your life simpler and more productive. Thank you for attending.